Hello, welcome to Exemplify, and thank you for stopping by. So today we're in the library to make me seem smarter than I actually am, and we're talking about athletes and protein. So, how much protein do we actually need? The answer is it depends. So, it depends on a couple of different factors, which we will get into in this video. The RDA is the recommended daily allowance for different nutrients that you need, and it basically only covers what you need to not be malnourished, so continue normal bodily function. And the RDA for protein is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. And if you don't know, if you're in the States like I am and we use pounds, you want to divide your weight by 2.2 to get your weight in kilograms. Once you have that number multiplied by 0.8, that is the amount of protein you need to eat in order to not be malnourished, not have any of the deleterious effects of lack of protein. So, I'm 165 pounds. For me, that would be around 60 grams of protein per day. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking that's not a lot at all. That's not enough for my, to make these gains, brother, to make these motherfucking gains. Well, you'd probably be correct. So, these guidelines are for about 97.5% of the population. The active amount of the population is probably falling within that 2.5% that this doesn't account for. The common recommended amount you should eat for an athlete, which is widely accepted by coaches everywhere, is about 1.3 grams to 1.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. This means for me, a 165-pound male, I should be eating about 135 grams of protein per day. This is enough to stimulate muscle protein synthesis and enough to stave off any muscle waste during calorie deficit. Also, the numbers I will be talking about in this video are for adults, okay? This is not for teenagers or anybody under the age of 18. I want to make that clear because I don't want to get sued. And that's pretty much the only reason. Now, a question I get from a lot of clients is, can you have too much protein? And the answer is, yes, you can. But that's only in the population of people who have kidney issues. If you have healthy, functioning kidneys, there is no problem, no upper limit of protein that you can have per day. Some coaches even recommend that their athletes have up to 3.4 grams per kilogram of protein per day. Again, for me, a 165-pound male, that would be about 255 grams of protein per day, which is a whole fuck ton of protein. I do not need that much protein in my life. At this point, you might be asking, why would somebody need that much protein in a day? And we're gonna get into that right now. What you have to take into account is your activity level. People who are sedentary or are doing a low amount of activity per day should err on the side of 0.8 to 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram per day. Now that's a wide range, that's a whole 1 gram per kilogram per day discrepancy. Why the discrepancy? Well, low to no physical activity per day it's a big difference, okay? If you're just sitting on the couch all day, you don't have any intentions of exercising or gaining any kind of muscle, participating in any sports, then the 0.8 grams per day is good for you because you're sedentary. You don't really need to, your nervous system isn't being taxed on a daily basis, so you're fine with the minimum recommendation, although you should probably get off your ass and start working out. Now, if you're doing low to moderate activity where you're walking, you're doing the recommended 150 minutes of cardiovascular activity per week, then you should err on the side of 1.3 grams of protein in order to recover and feel better. Also, it's been shown in certain studies that the more protein intake you have, the better your body composition. So even if you are, even if you're on the sedentary side, if you want to have a better body composition, you should probably increase your protein intake to 1.3 grams at the minimum. Now, if you're a high activity individual, this is where the 3.4 grams per kilogram might be for you, but probably not. The reason it's so high is because it's prescribed for people who are doing immense amounts of physical activity. This is marathon runners. These are people who are competing at high levels in sports. This is not for the average Joe. This is not for you or me who's just trying to get in the gym, get in beach condition, basically. So 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight and above is mostly for people who are doing higher intensity activity and they need that to rebuild their muscle. They need it to, basically rehab their central nervous system, which is being taxed on a daily basis. Now, it's not black and white. If you're exercising correctly, you want to have different periods of different intensities. So you're going to have times where you want to go more lower intensity. This would be kind of like during a deload week. That's when you want to err on the side of 1.3 to 1.8 grams of protein. Now in your higher intensity phases of your exercise program, that's when you want to go up to 2 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight to build the muscle, help stave off that fatigue, so you can modify your diet so you're eating the correct amount of protein in the correct phase of your exercising cycle. The next thing you have to take into account is your age. So, like I've been saying this entire video, this is meant for adults ages 18 and above. If you're under this age, you likely need more protein than a sedentary adult and likely less protein than a highly active adult. And I'm not putting those numbers up here because if there are any parents watching this video, I don't want you saying, oh, I saw a very interesting video on YouTube today, and starting tomorrow, little Johnny, you're doing power cleans 6 in the morning and you're eating 500 grams of protein. No, if you want to be an irresponsible parent, do that on your own time and do not blame me. Next is your training age. How long have you been working out? If you're a beginner, someone who's been exercising roughly 2 years or less, then you do not need as much protein as somebody who has been working out for years and years and years. The stimulus is going to be so new to you that you don't need as much protein in order to gain muscle, and likely the food you're going to be eating is probably enough for you to gain size and not feel so fatigued. And the last thing you need to consider is, do you have kidney issues or any other health condition? Regardless of who you are, you shouldn't probably take the word of somebody on the internet you don't really know. You should probably go to the doctor, speak to them, ask them how much protein you need. Go to a registered dietitian, not a nutritionist, there's a discrepancy there, and find out what they think you need for your demographic. Besides that, that's about it. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it, and I will catch you on the flip side.